Well, g'day there. Welcome back to another vocal analysis here at Voice Essentials. I've got a really interesting one for you today. This is a singer who is brand new to our channel. We've never listened to him before and reviewed his performance. This is Zhou Shen, and I do hope I've pronounced that correctly. He's a Chinese singer. The performance we're going to be listening to is called Big Fish. It was on the Singer 2020 TV show in China, I believe. And at the time of performance, he was in his late 20s. Let's dive in and have a listen. I find this voice fascinating, and I think we're going to really enjoy listening to what he does. Let's quickly dive in because, like I said, it's not a voice we've listened to before, so I kind of want the voice to kind of speak for itself to start. Here we go. Isn't that pretty? Like just the music.
海浪无声将夜幕深深淹没，漫过天空尽头的角落。大雨在梦境的缝隙里流过，凝望你沉睡的轮廓。
Beautiful, hey? I think we would classify this voice as countertenor. You might be giving it a different label. I guess the label doesn't really matter. It's what the singer, Zhou Shen, is doing with his voice. It's so lovely and light. It is not what I would call falsetto. I would be given to saying he is in his upper register in a beautifully managed way that is not causing the voice to transition to falsetto. I'll continue to listen and see if, you know, as we go along I change my mind on that. But that's my initial impression. And I'll be keen to read your comments below also. Let's continue and enjoy this. It's so there's something about Asian orchestration that I just love. You know, it's so pretty, and some of the chordal structures. And therefore the melodic choices that can be made are beautiful. So hear the voice there go into falsetto. That's what I mean. You can hear just over the top, just over the top of that phrase, you hear the voice move into falsetto. So this is beautifully crafted voicing. It would be, I think a lot of voice types would struggle to do this simply because it would sit too high and the voice would have to go into falsetto. But Zhou Shen doesn't need to do that. Hear that? Just travels up and over. 大雨的翅膀已经太辽阔，
我松开
Oh, I love the way he shaped that. Watch what he does with his mouth. That was purely shaped with mouth. Now, yes, I know the vast majority of our vowels are shaped with our mouth, but we have a whole vocal tract, right? But I want you to see how the predominance of what we can see him do with his jawline and the way he moves his mouth and tongue, and how that shapes that particular vowel.
知道已经太辽阔，我松
See how it closes off?
时间的绳索，怕你飞远去，怕你离我而去，更怕你永远停留在这里。
So what we're hearing there is just the application. So I'm pretty prepared to say it's definitely upper register. I work with the Thurman and Welch model of registration, if you're wondering. What we're hearing there is that he just brings in some narrowing of the aryepiglottic sphincter, adds some twang, which is the resonant strategy that we're hearing, gives us that focus. It peaks the voice around about. It gives the overtones a peak at around about somewhere between 2.8 and 3.2 kilohertz, and it just gives us that edge. And again, it's just so beautifully crafted. Yeah, like we're a minute and a half in, and there'd been no indication that we were going to get that up until now. So he's left us with somewhere to go. And this is a 5-minute piece, and so it's going to be exciting to hear where it goes from here.
雨洒，听风起，雨落，执子手，吹散苍茫茫烟波。大雨的翅膀已经太辽阔，我松开时间的绳索。 怕你飞远去，怕你离我而去，
Audience love it.
更怕你永远停留在这里。每一滴泪水都向你
Again,
流淌去。
good mouth shaping.
我流进天空的海底。 海浪无声将夜幕深深淹没，漫过天空尽头的角落。大雨在梦境的风。
Remember how I was talking about just the orchestration of some of these Asian pieces? This is, just have a listen to the strings over the top of that. Nothing to do with the singing. It's all about learn to sing here at Voice Essentials, but gee, we can appreciate music when we hear something special. Have a listen to this.
淹没，漫过天空尽头的角落。大雨在梦境
that's lovely.
的缝隙里，
Beautifully orchestrated and arranged.
凝望你沉睡的轮廓，看海天一色，听风起落，执子手，吹散苍茫茫烟波。大雨的翅膀已经太辽阔，我松开。
Beautiful use of the mic there. We'll show you. I'll replay that. The way his mic movement there is bang on. Like it doesn't, it's not like this. It's just enough to shape, just shaping. And as we're going along, the other thought I'm having is that and this is appropriate to the piece. The landscaping of this piece is so subtle. Like if anything, he's purely only sitting on top of the music. He's allowing the music to do all of the shaping and and so he's just kind of floating over the top of that. And so if there's just a slight swell in the music, and everything about this piece is subtle, he kind of raises with it and then comes back down with it. But because it's so subtle, it kind of doesn't stand out. You don't really hear any dynamic change. It's so pretty. Like it's... have I... Have I revealed yet how pretty I think this is?
苍茫茫烟波，大鱼的翅膀已经太辽阔。我松
Beautiful
开
movement of the mic.
时间的绳索，
That's a skill.
看你飞远去，看你离我而去。
Just after I talk about not being, overly dramatic in its movement dynamically, it becomes, we get dynamic movement. But that's good. Spectators curse. What do they call it? Commentators curse. You go and say something and then immediately after that they prove you wrong.
辽阔，我松开时间的绳索，看你飞远去，看你离我而去。
But even that, see, it's not over. It's not overt.
于天际，每一滴泪水都像你。
Geez, he really does, my understanding he's classically trained in the Ukraine, actually. The internet being what the internet is, that could be wrong. Please confirm that in the comments section below. My research suggests me that he studied bel canto at Lviv National Music Academy in the Ukraine. Happy to be told that that's not correct. That's what I found on the World Wide Web. The interesting thing about his mouth shape is it's not typical classical. When we think classical, we're often thinking very north-south, very long, mouth this way. In contemporary, we do tend to think a little bit more east to west, a little bit more across. And that's what we see him do a lot. Like there's a lot of very east to west mouth position.
原来你生来就属于天际，每一滴泪水都向你流淌去，倒流回最初的相遇。
Using mic to shape the phrase. Now that was interesting. What I would normally be encouraging my students to do, particularly because the majority of people who are going to be, going into a falsetto note like we just heard, on an oo vowel, we are going to need a far more forward shape, rounding shape of the lips. And that is going to facilitate a better shaping of the vowel. I wonder whether Zhou Shen, in a sense, gets away with it because it sounds great. I wonder whether he gets away with the lack of shape because of his voice type, that countertenor. Perhaps we can only, speculate. But if you were to do this piece at home, which would be interesting, I'd be looking for you to be around a forward lip. Wow, that was interesting. We have not heard that tone, which is very classical, at all up until now. Cool. He held that in reserve until the very end. There's a lesson in that. You don't, I'm saying to students all the time, don't give your audience everything in the first verse, first chorus. I've got to admit, I very rarely say, give it to them in the final tag. Usually we've given them interesting things before then, but that's not what's happening here. That's fascinating. Let's have a listen to that again. Just a point, notice, I want you to watch as we're going, sorry to pause you, watch how we're going now to a more classical tone, watch how the mouth becomes more north to south, as opposed to where he's been sitting, which is more contemporary, which has been, very east to west. Have a watch how the transition of that happens. East to west, goes north to south. Wow, great example of that. Yeah, interesting. Yep. Fellow competitors going. How do we follow that? Extraordinary. That's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Yeah. I am lost for words. It was just beautiful. If you've got other Zhou Shen performances that you think we could get some value out of reviewing, I think there'll be quite a few of you who've never been to my channel before by virtue of this is a new name that we're looking at. We go looking for live performances, as in a performance that we're pretty confident has been done as a single take. Just like we saw then, I would dare say there's a fair bit of post-production that's happened after the fact from that performance, but it was definitely certainly appeared to be one take. And so that's what we go looking for. So when you do share your suggestions, please keep that in mind. Loved that. Loved it. I hope you did too. I look forward to seeing you in the next vocal analysis here at Voice Essentials. I'm DrDan. Sing well.